Hello, healing friends. And I would just say that you could have been watching this video earlier if I'd known that my friend, let's just call him LJ, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about, if he had actually showed, if he had actually given me a time that he actually did show up at. Now, I know this about him, so I work with my energy around it because I just know that, like, oh, I was supposed to come over when, and I think that he would come back and blame it on me because I'm constantly taking him through the portal of time to the place of timelessness, and he just never comes back from there. So anyway, without this being too much of a complaint session, because he's got a heart of gold, and that's worth everything, is the heart of gold. But in relationship to time, he's got, as I say about my one friend, he's got a brain of lead. You know, it's like, oh man, I just go with the flow. I just arrive when I get there. So anyway, having thought that he was going to be contacting me somewhere between 12 and 1, so on my end of things, I could be getting the food at the perfect hotness for his arrival. And then when I don't think I was going to start the rice once he gave me a time, and I believe it was going to be between 12 and 1, but then that was changed to 1:30. And then actually he arrived at 2 o'clock. Now, if I had not been trying to organize like some sort of gourmet chef who was serving chili, if I hadn't been trying to organize to have everything the perfect temperature all at the same time that could be put in the plate together and would be at its most deliciousness, if I hadn't had these control issues of not really, gourmet chili. Yeah, it is gourmet chili, but still, they're kind of an oxymoron, gourmet chili. But it is, so can't argue with that. But anyway, if I'd known he was actually going to show up at 2 o'clock, I would have made this video earlier, but I wouldn't have had this story to tell. So by waiting around for an additional half hour, waiting for the rice to get less than perfect, and breathing, and realizing it's another opportunity to say the words, I choose to let this go. And realize that later will be soon enough to make the video. And then he did mention that he said, oftentimes, I see in the video you look so tired. This would be one of those times. I feel like it's important that I make this video, so I'm making this video, and I would have made it a lot earlier if I just decided to just go ahead and do it. But I didn't. I decided to wait, knowing full well I could be waiting for quite some time, which once again I was. I ground myself into the healing center of the earth. Okay, let's just go ahead and say the words. I choose to connect to the healing field. I connect to my deep self. Connect to my higher self. Connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. Choose to release anything that's not useful to me now. Time, neurosis. The feeling that people should show up when they say they're going to. I choose to let that go. It's true. People only show up when they show up. No matter when they said they were. Some people show up 5-10 minutes early, sometimes more earlier, sometimes later, sometimes they never show up. I choose to let that go. It's more important that we're grounded, feel balanced, and ground any of the energies of disturbance in the world around us or within us. I choose to work with the Hathors. Now I'll just say these words. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work, and I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, released and integrated at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. I ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. Upon our arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely on all levels and through all space and time. I think this way, because it's later in the day and I have only so much sunlight left, I might move a little quicker. So, we have the field set up. We're grounding the disturbance of this particular field within the world healing field. So we're doing some good work for the planet. And so I picked the cards, and I like sometimes I get a sense to pick the cards of what we've been working with, what we are working with, and what we're moving towards. So what we are working with is the Princess or Page of Swords. It's the 11th minor arcana card, the Page or the Princess. So it's 11, so it means it's a 2. So it has to do with healing, choice, intentionality, sensitivity, intuition, psychic wisdom, and duality. You need 2 to have duality. If it's 1, it's not duality. It takes 2 to tango and all that. Swords are about air, about mental, about logic, pragmatism, information, communication, knowledge associated with the mind. And the key words for the Page of Swords are endless ideas, curiosity, unique insights, fresh perspectives, brainstorming, logical questioning. We may have a lot to learn, but we also have a million questions. And this person who visited me and left maybe 20 minutes ago not only has a million questions, but frequently asks 3 or 4 of them in a row. And by the time he's gotten to the 4th one, and you're supposed to be able to remember 7, but by the time he's gotten to the 4th one, I can't remember a single one of the questions he was asking. So I say, could you just go back? If you can remember the first question, just ask that question, and I'll see if I can make up an answer to it. A million questions. But this gives us a fresh perspective on the world. This desire to investigate and question and examine gives us an edge over those that are less curious. I don't know what kind of an edge. But we love our intellect, rely on our ability to pursue and interrogate, and are eager to find and share information to make sure everyone is as well informed as we are. In starting down a new path of discovery and being open to whatever we find, we embrace the inquisitive presence of the Page of Swords. So we're coming into a place where we're seeing things anew, and that's the energy we've been working with. And the energy we're currently working with is the 10 of Trumps, or Major Arcana number 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And I'll show you, this would be the Page or Princess of Swords. Really cutting away stuff. And then for what we're working with right now is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is related to the planet Jupiter, and it's about expansion, abundance, growth, stabilization, belief, and ideals. So that's what we're working with right now. Like, what are the beliefs we have that are just really time to let go, if not all of them? All the beliefs. All the things we've been given to believe that just might not pass the scrutiny of the Princess of Swords. What, really looking at it like, does it seem like it's something that's really useful to believe? But it's good to ask that question. It's also the Wheel of Fortune is a 10. It's the number 10 of the major arcana, but which makes it a 1, which is about unity, vision, pride, independence, and community together. So the 1 within the 10. Trailblazing and confidence. Keywords are a new spark, destiny. So right now we're feeling like we're moving towards something that feels like destiny. Larger forces are at work. Cosmic forces are at work. And we just happen to be plunked down on this plucky planet during a time of major transformation. I mean, how could we be any luckier? But probably we're not lucky. Probably we volunteered. So you might want to question yourself on that one. You didn't know what you were getting into. Neither did I. I totally didn't know it was going to be like this, which is good. Kind of like childbirth. If anybody really knew what childbirth was like, I don't think there'd be any children. I mean, maybe C-section, it's like, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, there you go, you got a kid. Well, how long was your labor? I think it took them 20 minutes to cut it out. Let's just put a zipper in there so we can just pop it out, zip it back up again. But no, if the child is coming through that very small opening, that can take a number of hours. For some people, a number of days, or at least more than one day. I was there for one of those. Okay, larger forces, fate, karma, control, vision, essential, change, patterns of movement, routines, luck, understanding our purpose, cycles, transitions, responsibility, rapid change, positivity, trust, faith in something bigger. The oneness. I hope I got this set on a good, looks like it's recording me. Good. Good for me. It maybe not be so good for you. Okay, so currently we've been focusing on our own journey, our own dreams, our own understanding of who we are. But after spending so much time in solitude and reflection, we rejoin the world, newly sensitive to the ways that our unique magic, wisdom, gifts, and skills contribute to the cycles and patterns of the universe. Like sliding from the driver's seat into the passenger side, like getting strapped into a carnival ride, and does it not feel like that? Hasn't it felt like that for the last, let's just say, 5 years or so? We've been strapped into a carnival ride, and it has seemed to me to be a carnival. Trust me, we know the science. We know what we're doing here. Trust us. Possibly. Was it a good idea? I don't know. Well, we may never find out. I mean, unless we get really in touch with the Akashic records and we go in and go, oh man, I can't believe those people did that at that time. But we don't know. You may know. So I can't say we don't know. I say I don't know. I have some ideas about everything because of that Princess of Swords. Think of this, think of that, all sorts of thoughts. like getting strapped into a carnival ride that restricts our movement. This sensation can be topsy-turvy, our stomach dropping and our breath catching in ways that are surprising, unexpected, exciting. Luck and fate and destiny form a tangled web of movement, stillness, growth, and destruction. And as we slip back into the currents of society, we see how the choices that we make impact those around us. Our lives do not exist in a vacuum, and the things that we create, the vision that we have for the future, have the capacity to make lasting, permanent, significant change. Doesn't say good change or bad change, just lasting, significant change. Bigger cycles are always at play, and there will always be forces that are beyond our control, but we find an undeniable sense of empowerment here. Begin to celebrate the things that we can influence and emancipate the things that we cannot. That's currently. And what is all this going to lead to? Well, the book that I like is Finding the Fool, A Tarot Journey to Radical Transformation, and that's what I feel like it is, by Meg Jones Wall. She's brilliant, and she's a witch, and witches are brilliant. That's why if men to try to control the patriarchy, they had to destroy an awful lot of them because they were just too smart to believe in the bullshit that the patriarchy was trying to, like, men are smarter. Not so sure about that. Let's just say all men. Well, why don't we say all women? I don't think so. God might not like it. God's a man. All these things, all these thoughts, all these things we say out loud or just think to ourselves about what we believe. All men are created equal. The women, not so much. The women are a little unequal. What a bunch of hooey. A lot of hooey in the world. A lot of things that don't make sense, but people manage to believe them because they have a lot of emotions tied in. Okay, so what do we get led to? So, the cosmos picked the cards today. We got the Princess of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune for what's current, and what we're moving into, the Fool card, the big zero. And if your birth numbers add up to 22, then you are a fool for life. And of course mine do. So I am a fool personality-wise, soul-wise. I'm an emperor. But personality-wise, I'm a fool. Who would have guessed that, really? Okay, Finding the Fool, you found them right here. And if you add up the numbers of your birth date, so if you're January 1, 14th, that comes to 6, add them all up. 1, 9, which is 10, gives you 16. 5, 1 is 6. 16 and 6 is 22. 22 is the number of the Fool. Because the last number, and also the number of the Emperor, because 2 and 2 is 4, but 2 minus 2 is 0. So you're both a 0 as a personality, and some people will say, well, that's accurate. You're definitely got the personality of a big Z. The big Z. Okay, the Fool, of course, I'm going to say it the 5-year-old way. The Fool is related to the planet Uranus. I just had to go 4-year-old because I'm talking about the Fool. So planet is related to Uranus. And it's about innovation, evolution, rebellion, and change. It's the 0. Infinity, freedom, possibility, the beginning and the end. It's a cycle. Keywords are desire, profound trust in self, fearlessness, intuition, new beginnings, taking a chance without a full plan, moving into the unknown with joy, seeing endless potential, a fresh start, an unknown journey, inexperience, freedom, aspiration, risk. Some dreams stay with us even after waking. Our eyes slowly open and we come back to the physical world, yet our hearts linger in a fantasy that captivates our imagination, a spectral prospect that steals our breath and demands our focus. We may emerge slowly from slumber into our day, but pieces of our mind, heart, and soul have been left behind, continuing to explore this new possibility. Weeks slip by, but the mirage remains, coming into richer clarity, distracting us from our usual patterns and routines. What started as a vague whisper becomes an insistent obsession. We abandon any thoughts of leaving this yearning behind and instead embrace new details as they emerge, letting potential grow. Complicated desires manifest, and we consider ways that we could adjust our current path to start moving in this unexpected but promising new direction. Optimism floods us. Hope begins to grow, even as that vision feels so far out of reach, so unrealistic, so uncertain 28 years ago. But now that we're in 2.5 months from, it seems like, wow, that was a lot of work. That's what it seems like to me. There's no promise of success. So, as LJ said to me today, what's the world going to look like after March 24th? I said, they didn't tell me that part. They said it's going to take 28 years. You better get to work. There's no promise of success, no guarantee that we'll reach that shimmering far-off horizon, especially when it's 28 years away. We're considering rearranging our entire life to chase after something theoretical, something that somebody told me about inside my head, something unsettled, something that we desperately want, which is a world of love, peace, compassion, functionality, full disclosure, honesty, integrity, do what you say what you do, be on. How about honesty? How about honesty of our leaders? How about being that honest leader in your world? How about being honest so you don't have to remember the story you made up? You can just tell your experience, and when you repeat it, it's very much the same. We abandon any thought of leaving this yearning behind and instead embrace new details as they emerge, letting potential grow. Complicated desires manifest, and we consider ways that we could adjust our current path to start moving in this unexpected but promising new direction. Optimism floods us, hope begins to grow, even as that vision feels so far out of reach, so unrealistic, so uncertain. We're considering arranging our entire life to chase after something theoretical, something unsettled, something that we desperately want, but we aren't sure how to accomplish such a thing and don't even know where to start. I do know where to start. I learned this from Walt Disney in one of his movies. I think it was a Disney movie. I'm not certain of that, but I'm just going to tell you the secret. You start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. You start with something, do, re, mi, and end with the notes. Or to begin. Anyway, you get the point. Yeah, I watched the movie a lot of times, but I don't remember the particular song completely. Do, re, mi, first re, do, tar, do, re, mi. But you start at the beginning. That's the point. I mean, the song part of it, I didn't take my memory mushrooms this morning, so I can't remember the song, but I liked the song, and I liked the singing of it, and I liked the idea of somebody teaching people something of value, not plugging them into a desk and having regurgitate bullshit. And that's my perception of the majority of the educational system. I'm going to bring my daughter up one more time. She was given an award in her science class that she got to go to the science expo because she got the highest grade in the class. And when she was called up in front of the class to receive the award, she said to the teacher, "Why don't you give this to someone who's interested in science?" And he goes, "You're not interested in science?" And she goes, "No, not the way you teach it." She said, "In my previous education, which was Waldorf," she said, "the teacher always made sure that you understood what the purpose of the knowledge was for. And you've done none of that." And he said, "Well, how did you get the highest grade in the class?" And my two daughters have both used this before in answering a question to me, different questions, but they said, "I answered test questions correctly. But as far as I'm concerned, I learned nothing of practical value from this course, and it's led me to no interest in science." So this is a person that eventually graduated near the top of her, both top of her class in high school, near the top of her class in college, went on to graduate school. But all of a sudden, she was learning all sorts of things. She could see the usefulness of kinesiology, how the muscles move, how they affect the bones. Then she went on to graduate work in physical therapy, how you can help the muscles, the bones, the joints to function better, how you can help people to walk better, to hold themselves better, to exercise in a way that brings them into balance. And then, after her doctorate program at the University of Southern California in physical therapy, she did a postdoctoral program to study an idea, a theory that one of her teachers, her faculty advisor, had this idea that they could use this process of shifting the mind on the physical body, and they could retrain Parkinson patients to walk more normally. She did a 1-year program, proved that it worked, that they could do this. A company was formed. She went to work for it. And she worked for this company teaching this process all over the world. Now she's got a 6,000-foot clinic in Huntington Beach, California called Rogue. Look it up and see if you don't see that face and see this face and that face. I have 7 children. Only one of them has my genes, my biology. 2 of them adopted, but just lovely human beings, and 4 stepchildren that just have somebody else's genes, but they're my children. I inherited them. My friend passed away and left his wife and his children. And I received the gift of all of them, all 5 of them. 4 children and the mother. Such a gift. Anyway, Rogue Physical Therapy, Huntington Beach, California. Look at that young woman. Maybe she's 5'2", and I think she's run 8 marathons. Played college level soccer at 5'2". Played 4 years of soccer in high school at 5'2". She wasn't super fast, but she was a terrier. Okay. The Fool. We're moving into a new world. We need the Fool's creativity. We can use the Fool's creativity now. Things are changing. Get flexible. Get open. Move with the changes. Accept your destiny to be here and participate in the whole world changing. And hold the vision of what will be like. Honesty, integrity, compassion, creativity, connection, coming into a world that recognizes that we are all one. We belong together. We can support each other. We can get through all of this because we have amazingly kind hearts and thoughtful minds. And if we keep doing this cleansing process, functional bodies. And we are Winklil, the Mayan word for human being, which means cosmic vibratory roots. We are cosmic vibratory roots, and today is a galactic activation portal day where these new energies are coming in to shift us on a DNA level, on a genetic level, opening up unexpressed genes that have been held before, but now it's time for them to open up and awaken. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's been a pleasure razzing LJ because he watches most of my videos, so this is a way I can razz him a little bit about his living in timelessness and everything's part of the creative cycle. It's all one. I know I say the same thing, it's all one, but when you say it's one, it ought to be one, not two. Just another little rub there. Okay. Last part. You know the drill if you've done this before. I ask the higher self to assist all the souls that have returned to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into the body with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity, compassion, creativity, and kindness. Honesty and integrity and love and all that's good that's contained within you. Bring it out and vibrate it so it changes the world. So I ask all those souls to ground themselves in the healing center of the earth, open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies that we agreed to bring in at this time, and I ask that those new energies be brought in now. And ask that they be activated. And let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. And I thank you for participating. And it's a pleasure to set up the fields and have you participate in them and change the world every day, throughout the day, by allowing ourselves to change, to open, and become more of ourself. Namaskar. It's been a pleasure, been a gift, been a joy. I love you.